Beautiful day outdoors. Lovely morning. Just it's actually a pretty lit day. Today is probably one of the days is more of a highlight of my weeks in life, is because today is game day. I coach football. That's probably one of the more exciting things in my life that I look forward to on a weekly basis, whether in the off season we got practices building up to the season, or whether we're in season and we can look forward to game day. So it's gonna be lit today. We actually got a doubleheader, but got up early in the morning to get prepared for the day. Ran some errands and grabbed me a cup of coffee, and I was like, do I want to grab some content right now, or wait till later after the games and everything? But I was like, yeah, might as well go ahead and knock it out to really to get it in, so then that way after the game I can relax, because typically after the games and stuff I'm a bit wound up, whether we win or lose. We won our first game, blew them out. Looking forward to blowing out whoever we play today. But whether we win or lose, just be wound up and just be looking forward to decompressing and settling down. But so go ahead and knock it out. So yeah, something that was on my mind was basically I want to go in on what I feel is the weakest quality or characteristic of a person. The weakest quality or characteristic of a person, in my opinion. So, I've went into, going into like how, my boring life at 40 years old, my mundane life, pretty much. And in a previous video, I was talking about how, fake people, some people I've experienced, they've taken my goodness and loyalty for weakness. Some people will take goodness as a weakness in a character. They'll prey on individuals who they see, they might think soft or whatever the case is. Though I'm not a soft person, but being a good person and having good intentions, people will prey on that. But as opposed to that, me, I believe that the weakest quality of a person is if they lie or tell lies. If they're a liar, they tell lies. If that's what they're known by and for, if that person is a liar, always gonna lie to get out of a situation, or even if they just lie just because, I just truly believe that's the weakest quality of a person, because it takes a person with more standard and more integrity to always tell the truth, or strive to always tell the truth. Well, don't nobody perfect, but to strive to tell the truth, to strive to tell the truth, and just be a stand-up person. A lot of times, it's easy to be wicked, it's easy to be unrighteous, to be unfruitful, but the challenge is to be a stand-up person, a man of integrity, or a woman of integrity, and whatnot. One thing about lying that I can't stand is that it takes away somebody's ability to make a good decision. If somebody is truthful with me, then I can weigh the pros and cons and make a good decision for me. But when somebody lies to me, they rob me from that ability to make a wise decision, because they're telling me a lie. And therefore, especially depending on the relationship or the closeness of that person, you might believe them though they're telling a lie. Whether it's a little white lie or a wicked black lie, it's still a lie, And a few scenarios I'm gonna try to describe. So I've had some situations with people who lie to me. I'm telling you, I can't stand it when somebody lies to me. That's like one of my pet peeves. If somebody lie to me, I can't stand it. So my ex-girlfriend, sweet person, good person. She has good, she strives to have good intentions and stuff like that. I'm still in love with her, and I just may continue to, we're broke up, but from time to time we still connect and just keep in touch and stuff like that. Again, she's a good person, but we broke up in a situation where she told me a lie straight to my face, and it was a soft little white lie, but it was still the fact that you lied to me. Because I truly believe if somebody will lie to you, they'll steal from you, and if they'll steal from you, they'll kill you. And maybe that's a bit extreme, but I just truly believe that. Like, if somebody will lie to me, I feel that they will steal from me, and if they'll steal from me, they'll set me up to kill me or something like that. So if somebody is caught lying, it's a pet peeve of mine, and I typically immediately cut them off or put some distance or separation between us, to where I know where you at. You over there on the other side. Okay, yeah, I could holler at you from time to time, whatever the case is, but you in that box, in that category over there though, and that's gonna be where you at. So I'm talking about, and I don't want to get too into it, but I want to just kind of briefly just kind of give a little scenario about it, and then some other instances of people lying, just to kind of hopefully solidify my point, and so I can move on. But for instance, we had an argument, and I asked her a question, and she answered it. She was like, no. So then, okay, I'm like, all right, cool. So then that day finished, and then the next day come, and then she keep on bringing up that situation. I was like, I thought you said no. Why are you still coming up? What's up? Why are you talking to? So you straight up lied to me. You told me no, but really it was yes. The question I asked you, so you straight up lied to me. So from there, it was rocky. We end up kind of breaking up and stuff like that. It sucked, but I just had to stand my ground on that, and I had to stand 10 toes down on that, and that's just kind of what it was. Another instance, there was a guy who used to coach with me, and another guy who used to coach. Now I'm the head coach of a football team I coach and stuff like that. But there was another guy who used to coach with us, and he coached with us for one season. And after that season, he decided to start his own team. And so he was kind of treacherous. Like he was snakish, and he's still in that snake box with me. I hadn't continued a relationship with him or any communication with him since after this instance I'm about to get into just a little bit. So he went off to go do his own thing. He started his own team. And so after maybe a season or two, our best player, after a game, he and his assistant coach slid up on our best player and his mom and like some guy she was with, maybe her boyfriend or something like that. And I saw that and I recognized it, so I approached and I'm trying to see what's going on. So he's lying to me in my face. I'm asking him a question. He's looking down. He's just, I guess, ashamed because he got caught. And so after that, and after that season, we had a conversation, and I'm like, basically I was trying to put some separation. I'm like, don't go after our player. basically. And he was like, he's not going to go after our player. He's not going to try to steal our player or something like that. And so that was the end of that season, and I went about to go travel for a few months because it was the off season prior to us getting back together for preseason camp. So I got to traveling, and my buddy who used to coach with me, he was the head coach at that time. Lo and behold, one day I'm out of the country. He gives me a call, and he lets me know that our best player is going to be on his team. And so I'm like, man, this dude straight up lied to me. He told me he was not going to go after our player. And he even lied to me about another situation. He told me, I asked him about another player who I knew he was trying to go after, but he's making it seem like he's not going to go after him, and he's, you don't believe me, he's trying to, play the victim and all this, like I'm not trusting and all this kind of stuff. He's trying to flip it. And so from that point, I just really could not stand that dude. Like, I look at him as an enemy, in everything. And like, from that moment on, me and his relationship pretty much was over with, I mean, not that we had much of a relationship outside of coaching, but he had came off as a cool person initially. When he came onto the squad, he didn't have a team, so we gave him an opportunity to coach with us, and that's what he resorted to. And it was as if that was his whole agenda the whole time. The whole time his agenda was to try to get in and get our best player and stuff. So I'm talking about, man. So then you got that aspect of it. So then another aspect of lying is like this. Excuse me, taking a sip of coffee. So one thing I'm becoming aware of is that when it comes to politics, man, I'm at a point where I'm pretty much done with politics. I am done with politics. Like, I would probably say that I'm an independent, though the reality of an independent candidate making the presidency is very minimal, because of popularity and funding and support and popularity, all that stuff. So when I was younger, around the Obama years, that campaign and that campaign rhetoric, it was captivating. His swagger, his communication, his vibrato, like, he had the full package, and things he was saying sounded really good. And at that time, there was a big push. They had people when he was campaigning and running, they had people in the neighborhoods passing out information about him, things he's going to be doing for the community, things he's going to be doing, this and that and all this kind of stuff. So when I was younger and when Obama had ran, I fell for it. I went for it, and that was the very first time I voted, and I voted for Obama. But he didn't come through with the things that I was hearing he was saying. Again, campaign rhetoric, they'll lie to get your vote, and they'll have another agenda. What I'm seeing as far as politics, and I'm not gonna make this video all about politics. I'm gonna make another video about that, God willing, soon. But it's like they'll captivate you to get your vote, and then there's another agenda. It's like, whether you're on the left side, the extremists, they have agendas for dealing with the abortion, pushing, the alphabet communities, and things of that nature, to push that agenda on the far sides of that, and gun control, all this kind of stuff. Then on the opposite side, on the most extreme sides of that, you got the warmongers and stuff like that. And so, I voted for him that first time. His second time, I was fed up with it, so I voted for Mitt Romney. And then, Mitt Romney didn't win, but I was just trying to show that, hey, my vote can change, my vote can sway, and if I don't like if I don't like the results, or I don't see the results of what you ran off, then you're not gonna get my vote. Just because you expect me to get, just because I'm a certain demographic, you're gonna get my vote. No, what are you talking about? What are the politics? What are the results? What are you doing? What are the actions? So fast forward to 2024, and so it was it started with Trump and Biden, and then with Biden, after that debate, that one and only debate he had, he was torched. Like, I'm talking about, he got flamed, and it was just a horrible performance. So much so that they swapped him out with Kamala, and then when it came to Kamala, however you pronounce her name, her politics was based off of Roe v. Wade, abortion and stuff, and then for the most part, she wasn't necessarily politicking. She didn't have no politics. She wasn't talking politics. She was bashing Trump mostly. All the time she get on the camera and all her interviews and stuff like that, she was just basically just bashing Trump. So it's like, what are your policies? What are your, what are you running for? What are you running on? What are you going to do? And then she didn't have much to say about what she was going to do for my demographic. But on the contrary, Trump, what captivated me about Trump is he had an answer for just about everything, and he had a plan for everything. It just sounded like he had a plan. Like, that's something like being a man of a leader. That's something that I'll give credit to people who are in leadership position, is having an approach, having an initial approach, having a plan. Because at least you've thought it out and you got that much vision to look ahead. And so when they, were either interviewing Trump or things of that nature, he's giving his ideas, he's expressing his visions and things of that nature. And he had visions and plans for, my demographic. He's had a track record of doing things for my demographic. And also he has had a plan and an approach for things that I was interested in and am interested in. And so, like, one thing about me, I'm anti-war, and so that was one of the biggest things that he ran on, is like ending wars, not getting us into any more wars and stuff like that. Fast forward to, as of recent, he started some stuff he hasn't been able to get himself out of, and it's really made me look at Trump a lot different, because he hasn't been sound, and he's pretty much lied about his reasoning for initiating conflict. And it's like, dude, that's not what you ran on. I'm not feeling it. And it's like, as of late, I'm just really not feeling Trump. And I'm not gonna make this too much political. I'm probably, in subsequent videos, I'll probably go a little bit more in on politics, and maybe even on Trump, or whatever the case is. But I'm just not feeling it, because I feel like he has lied. He's lied about them starting this conflict because of them trying to get nuclear weapons, or trying to come up with nuclear weapons, when Tulsi Gabbard has testified of no evidence of that kind of stuff. And then it was regime change, but then he went back and forth on that. So it's like, what are we doing? And then it's causing everything to go upside down. Gas prices and shot up. The markets are all crazy, and something that I'm interested in is finance and investing in investments and stuff like that, and things are just stale. And some of my recent investments, I'm down, and so like now it's going to take me more time to get that back up, though anything can happen, and the markets just shoot in the direction that I'm going, and I can easily get that money back quickly if just God willing, if that happens, if the market shoot in the direction I'm positioned in. But still, though, as of right now, some of my investments are down or stale or sideways, and it's just like, dude, this ain't what you ran on. You ran on making America great again, the golden age, golden times, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like in his first 2 years, you know, I was cool with the tariffs. I thought that was a good idea, especially if he was intended on, you know, using that to replace income tax. I thought that was a great idea. So that slowed down the markets and stuff like that. So I was willing to work with him on that. But with this conflict, it's just like, it's really making me look at him like he a liar. And so I just can't stand it. I can almost no longer stand hearing his voice or, you know, seeing constant news about this dude, because it's like he's going back and forth, flip-flopping, and just, I'm not feeling it. So again, I just truly feel that the weakest quality of a person is if they are a liar, if they lie, if they're known for lying. You know, another person who was known for lying, and the father of it is Satan. You know, and as I've conveyed in previous videos, you know, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. I'm a Christian, and you know, Satan is the enemy. He's in opposition. He's in opposition to righteousness and everything good. And so, like, when people show that quality, it just made me think of Satan. He's the father of lies. And you know, as a Christian and somebody who, you know, strives to do right, you know, we supposed to speak truth to our neighbor. You know, we ain't supposed to bear false witness and things of that nature. So yeah, but I can go on and on and on about, you know, other stories of people lying and stuff like that. But hopefully I've made my point. This is just something that I can't stand. And but you know, still dealing with human beings. Nobody perfect. It's an imperfect world. It's a cold, cruel, wicked world. So that's not gonna, you know, just because of my rant on people lying, people ain't gonna just stop lying today, right now. But it's just something that I see in people, and it's a quality that I disdain. And when I see that in people, I know how to deal with them people. I put a little separation between me and myself. Because again, like I said, if somebody will lie from me, they'll steal from me. And if they'll steal from me, I truly believe somebody steal from me, they'll kill from me. So, but yeah, let me see. It's about 9:57. I really need to, I guess, start getting on my way. Because I still need to run an errand before I get to the stadium at 12. It's a few minutes before 10, so I still got plenty of time, but I need to start getting in motion. So I'm not gonna make this video too much longer than this. You know, hopefully this have made sense, and hopefully some, you know, maybe somebody can react to the can relate to this. The YouTube thing has been slow. I done dropped a few videos already, and you know, I still haven't gotten any views just yet. But I'm just going, my goal is really to just drop a video every day. And again, my goal ain't to get clout, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, though people could relate to this, and you know, like minds can, you know, maybe through these videos and through my channel, you know, like minds can build and commune, and you know, maybe we could grow a community or something like that. But you know, my goal is basically just to be consistent. I really want to just kind of drop videos. This is one of my favorite YouTubers. His name is Black Round 313, and one of his sayings is you know, it's therapeutic, and this is truly therapeutic, because it's like, again, with my boring life, I don't have a lot of friends, so, but I got a lot of stuff to say. I got a lot of ideas, so this has been cool to just, you know, be able to record my ideas. So it's like a visual diary. So, you know, I enjoy doing it. So I just kind of want to just be consistent and see what happens. You know, I don't really have big expectations whatsoever, but we'll see. But I'm about to get on my way, and eventually make my way to the stadium and see my boys dominate, coach these boys up. But it's been your man, Mad Genius Rants, with another one. Until next time, peace. See y'all on the other side.